ECSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app.
2,000 years long, we will never settle. Hard days, no way, with a heavy metal. No time, no fail, won't stop here. Like a torch to a flame when it burns hot. We won't stop. Come on, baby, higher.
From the ECSI Sports Studios and the #1 sports investors in America, we bring you the closing bell. As the market closes, legends Jeff Dawson and Riley Magnuson bring you all the sports investing tips for tonight's matchups. If you want to learn more from the two legends at the desk, make sure you stay tuned to the closing bell.
Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am the host, or actually the co-host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and it's that time of the day for the closing bell. Monday, April 7th, Championship Monday, Florida versus Houston. Vegas is telling me first one to 71 wins this game. We call it Re-Entry Monday. Stole that, of course, from Mr. Felger and Maz at 98.5. Big weekend. Some shockers, some stunners. And, of course, I'm talking about Duke's meltdown there. But a lot to talk about. UFC. Brian Harman wins the Valero. And, of course, it's Masters Week. Augusta, Magnolia Lane. Make sure you set the dial. Time change Wednesday, high noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Brady Cannon special edition of the Masters. First and foremost, a shout out to our proud sponsors and partnerships. It's WagerWire. Head on over to Google Play, download that app. It is free. Travis, Zach, Guy, Amber Hawley, Carol Bucks, happy birthday. I hope you have a special birthday day there, darling. We love you here at East Coast Sports. Viva Tequila Seltzer, 6 flavors in all. The East Coast is cuckoo for coconut. And AtlantaSteaksAndSeafood.com. You know the drill by now. Head on over to Facebook. Introduce yourself to Mr. Terry Smith. Head on back to AtlantaSteaksAndSeafood.com. Place an order today. You could be grilling by Thursday. 4 subscription plans as well. Check one box every 30 days. Terry Smith will be there with your protein for that up-and-coming month. The only thing you'll need is a spare propane tank. So without further ado, Mr. Riley Magnuson. What's up, champ?
What is up, my friend? You said it. We are getting ready for Championship Monday night here. I am ready to roll. We've been talking about what we might see on this the stage for a few months. So it's fitting that we got the chance to send the college basketball season off on its good graces here. You said it, Duke collapse in the last couple minute more specifically on Saturday night. Obviously, is what everyone's talking about. Outside of that, you get Obi breaking the goal record yesterday. Big celebration. Thought I had something with Keith Mitchell over the weekend. Jeff was maybe talking a little too much on Thursday, and then next thing I know, he's not even in the top 10. But getting ready for Masters Week, so it is a good Monday, my friend. Good re-entry Monday to be able to talk about what we just saw, and obviously got the crown jewel tonight.
Riley, you've been doing shows with me a long, long time. You get our information daily from the ECSI VIPs, who, by the way, 10-2 week last week. Add last Sunday's 3-0. Okay, so we are on a massive 14-2 heater here. How do you become an ECSI VIP guy? Two ways. EastCoastSportsInvestors.com. Head on over to the website. Top right corner is plans and pricing. Scroll all the way to the bottom. Leave the $375 retail price alone. $99 a month, $3 a day. All our plays sent to you via text and emailed. Or, yes, we have partnered with Dub Club. Go to EC Sports Invest, my profile picture. Click the Dub Club link, and for $1.78 a day, just last day to sign up for this. $1.78 a day, $60, and I'll even tell you there's a promo code there to take 10% off. So you'll actually get it for $54, but it ends today at midnight. Riley, I am the most superstitious person in the world. We have clients all over the globe, and they try to get cute. They don't think they're doing anything wrong, Riley. We could be winning 11-0 in baseball. A great call there, and I'm biting my tongue. Next thing you know, we lose 12-11. Up 20 at half in a basketball game. Geez, Jeff, didn't see that coming. Congrats, losing overtime. I was a part of a Survivor NCAA pool, 150 people. It was down to the final 20. I strategically had Duke and Florida left, so I needed to pick a winner on Saturday and then save someone for Monday. I took Florida. We got through the first game, so now I just need Duke to win, and then I get to Monday and I just select Duke, and I split the pot with 3 other people, or how many people are standing. The person, I won't say his name, running this pool with 8 minutes to go said, Mr. Dawson, you're one of the few survivors left. Congrats. And I bit my tongue. I was like, yes, sir, if Duke holds on. Now, they were up 14 at that point, so
right.
I was being a little sarcastic, of course. I put that collapse up with Buster Douglas beating Mike Tyson at 50-60-1. I put that collapse up with the Patriots and Falcons 28-3. Now, I'm saying how the game played out and where they were. Duke had 58 points with 9 minutes to go.
Yeah,
I think they
scored.
They got outscored 25-5 or something stupid like that to end the game. But here's the real kick in the jimmies. I was on Sports Grid yesterday at 3 o'clock to 3:20 with Joe Madden and Mr. Wetzel. And he goes, I'm going to add a little salt to your wound. I was like, what are you talking about? And he goes, well, the fine print is you get points per seed. So in other words, in the second pick of the tournament, I took UConn over Oklahoma. Well, UConn was an 8 seed, so I technically got 8 points for that. Mm-hmm. And you had to read the fine print, and I only knew because I talked to Adam Kaufman, and he was in the same pool, just a different pool, but same software. And this software, Splash Sports, was using this. So I was told yesterday I wouldn't have split 3,500 3 ways. I was winning the whole pool. I was leading in seed points. I would have taken down the whole pool for $3,500. I just needed Duke to win Saturday. It didn't matter today. I just needed them to get to Monday, and I would have won $3,500.
Man, that is rough. And I can understand because I'll have friends that do it like you said, if it's 11-0 in a baseball game, 20-point basketball game or something like that. Because you're right. I mean, anyone who's watching that game and has watched Duke all season long is like, all right, how does Duke lose this game with 8 minutes left? But 14 points in 8 minutes. I've seen crazier things a few times in my lifetime. Maybe not in a Final Four game necessarily like that, but I could think of Illinois coming back in my lifetime down 15 with 4 minutes left in the Elite Eight, or Texas A&M with Alex Caruso. Maybe you can, I'm drawing a blank on who that was against, but less than 10 years ago, coming back from 11 with 30 seconds left, for God's sakes. We're talking about college kids here. I mean, some of the inbounds that we've seen this year, I'm surprised there wasn't more collapses this year, because we've seen some in the early rounds, some horrendous, pooping down their legs, like you like to say, on these inbounds. And early in the rounds, we just didn't get any, some of the teams that capitalizes on it. I've seen there's a lot of that this year, and unfortunately for the teams that were winning, did not have too many that bit them in the ass like this. The crazy thing is, Houston did this to Kansas in regulation in the regular season game, and again kind of in overtime of that game. So this isn't Houston's first rodeo of having a crazy comeback like that. I mean, Kansas was up by like 8 with 20 seconds. It was probably crazier than what I don't remember the specifics of that game, and then was up 3 or 6 with the ball and 10 seconds left in overtime. So Houston's done this before. As good as Duke was, as many studs as they had, credit to Cooper Flagg. He didn't have a bad game, but obviously didn't make any, they had the drought that they had field goal wise the last 8 minutes of the game, and he had a handful of misses. Not that they were bad shots, just didn't go down for him. He makes 1 or 2 of those, and it's a little different. But credit to Houston, their defense is as stingy as anybody when it's rolling. So I'm really curious to see if they build off of that, and they're like, we don't want to get punked again and have to be in that position, or maybe they're drinking too much of the Kool-Aid from the Final Four and flying high. So I'm curious to see what we see out of it, because they're either going to have to try and do something else, or their defense is going to show up and be absolutely fantastic tonight.
Duke scored 1 basket in the last 10 minutes. Missed the key free throw and over the back, or whatever they called the foul on flag. I mean, the list is endless here. There were some naysayers. I said it Sunday. I'll say it again. You look at the Duke season, you look at the ACC, which was down. There weren't many. Yeah, Duke had 3 losses before that game. There weren't a lot, especially the mid to late tournament time, close games for Duke. They're blowing everyone out by 10, 15, 20 points. So how many times were they put in that spot, the last minute and a half, the last minute, the last 30 seconds, where you need to get an inbounds, you need to break the press? It never happened. Right. So, no, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I was looking back at their schedule. 2 of their losses of their 3 going into that game were in November against Kansas and in Kentucky. So you're talking about 1 loss since November, since – I think it was before Thanksgiving, for God's sakes. So, like you said, yeah, not to cut you off, but after that point, from December on, I think they only really had a couple close games. You get an early December close one-ish against Auburn. Then you have that loss, I think it was Clemson. And other than that, how many, like you said, you can count on one hand how many close games they had.
Yeah, and let's be true. I mean, Kelvin Sampson outcoached Duke. It was a semi-home game in the state of Texas. Yeah. It was the perfect storm. You could see the momentum. You could feel it building. And the perfect storm for Houston, because they got a defense second to none. And they've been knocking on this door. And here comes the almighty. Here comes Cooper Flagg. Here comes Duke. The whole world was on Duke. But yet at the 8-minute mark, the 6-minute mark, the 4-minute timeout, you could see this coming. And still up 6 with a minute to go, an opportunity. Can't get the ball in. And we could talk the whole show about this. I don't want to turn this into that. But at the end of the day, Riley, the better coached team won the game.
I agree. And I think you could argue, like, if Duke was in a different conference and had cut their teeth in those types of games throughout the season, they would have been far more well-equipped in that last final minute there to win that game. I think it's probably safe to argue, but you're absolutely right. You could argue, the overback that was called on Cooper Flagg, bad call probably, but that there's still 20 seconds left. I guess I don't know how much time there was left. That no matter how that play works out, there's still a chance either which way to, for some craziness to happen in that last 15 seconds or whatever it was, whether that's Duke getting that rebound and now Houston's down 3, or Houston just doesn't get to the line and now they're down 1 and they get a chance at the last second to get a shot off. So I'm with you. And Sampson fantastic in the last handful of years. Seems like it's been building to this as far as finally breaking through. They've been knocking on the door for a few years now. Similar type teams. Kind of a little different. Obviously, Virginia was losing to 16, and then they had all that momentum. But Houston's been kind of bubbling for a few years now, and as far as breaking through and paying off what Sampson's been doing the last 5 to 10 years here at Houston.
I will say this. I've been on the Florida train for a while. I had them making it to the Final Four. I had Duke making it to the Final Four, cashed some tickets there. I have a Florida future from about, 8 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to tell you, I said it last night. I was hoping I'd sleep on this. The line opened at 1.5 Florida. I've seen it at 1 now. 141.5 is the number. The first initial thought, very simply, the first team to 71 wins this game. Now both team totals are down to 70 and a hook. Ken Palm actually has Houston winning 71-70, I think it was. I'll tell you my honest gut opinion right now, this second. I think Houston wins. I think Houston, because there's two options, and you said this in the intro. You can take that momentum and take it to the next level, or that was their Super Bowl, and Florida is 9 for 10 from 3, and they can't miss, and Houston's down 18.5, and they're not coming back. But I think with the coaching edge, Sampson over Golden here, I think with the home court, I think with that momentum and that defense, I think the quicksand's going to start a lot earlier for Florida. And I can't believe I'm saying this. I think Houston runs and hides from this game. They build up one of those leads where Florida's frustrated. Houston is offensively playing well because they're going to be able to score against Florida. And their defense is just locked down. The crowd takes it to the next level. I got Houston cutting the nets down, Riley.
You're not going to fight with me too much on this one. I believe in their defense. I do have, full disclosure, I do have a Houston future in my back pocket. So, I'm going to be guaranteeing myself some profit off of that tonight. But I am with you as far as that. I was looking back. I don't have an exact stat for you, but anytime this season that Houston was kind of pushed a little bit as far as defensively, whether it's straight up loss or a close call or giving up, anywhere in the 70-plus range. It was 67 to Duke the other night. Their defense bounced back in, going like exactly what you're explaining. Like it's not even a question in that next game. Florida is very, very good, so I'm sure Florida would be the biggest test they've had type of spot. So if you're I'm kind of on the mindset of Houston's almost looking like they need to bounce back after, essentially probably should have lost that game and not their best defensive performance for the first 30 minutes of that game. Going to want to get out and have that type of defensive success and pressure early in the game. So I'm with you. I wasn't going to go far as to say they win going away, but I don't disagree with you at all. And so I'm buying into it, and I'm trusting Houston's defense in this one. They size matchup is great all around. But, you get 1 or 2 solid performances from their offense, and there's a world where this is an ugly, what was it, UConn Butler, and it wasn't because it was necessarily good, a good game or good defense. It was just they couldn't hit the broadside of the bar. But you could be looking up because of defense, and it's 20 to 15 at halftime. That's an exaggeration, but nobody's scoring, and it's a slow and ugly, unentertaining game. That wouldn't surprise me at all here tonight. And we get a game that it might not even be that fun to watch. I hope that's not the case. I hope we get an all-time instant classic. But I am leaning on Houston and their defense tonight for sure with you tonight, my friend.
Shout out to Marty Lowe. Roll Tide, roll Tide. And I'll add the last fly on the ointment. Florida's been very strong in their first games of the tournaments, but with 1 day rest and 1 day to prep, they were losing for the first 37 minutes against UConn, and they were losing most of the game against Texas Tech. Okay, so again, the coaching edge, the 1 day to prep, the home court for Houston. Again, I got Florida futures, guys. And again, I'm not playing both sides of the street here. If Florida wins, God bless me, I cash. As Riley says, and everyone here at ECSI knows, I'm guaranteeing me some damn profit tonight,
Right.
and I'm going to enjoy the game. I'm going to enjoy the
Right.
game. May the best team win here. But everything, my eyes, who I've talked to, what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing, it's Houston tonight.
Yeah. Yep. And I mean, again, not to play both sides, but anything can happen. I mean, Florida, Houston could have a bad night shooting or anything like that. But as far as the field, you and I are on the same page in here in this one. Are you actually thinking it's going to be one of these teams gets to 71 and Houston gets to 71 and wins going away, or would you say this one might just stay way under that?
I like the Florida team total under the 71. If you got it 70.5. I talked about the Duke game all week and I said pace makes the race. The under over was 137.5. I says if Houston can keep Duke into the high 50s, low 60s, roll the ball out, first one to 65 wins, Houston's got a hell of a shot, not just to cover, but obviously pull the upset. I said as soon as Duke hits 70, 71, 72, and beyond, they win the game and they cover the game most likely. Well, they never hit that 70 plateau.
Right.
And I think Florida's the same way, where the difference is, I think defensively, Duke's better than Florida. And they push you out further from where you like. So I think Houston's going to be able to score a lot easier against Florida than they did against Duke. And I think defensively, Florida's in for a rude awakening because they haven't seen the tenacity of what Houston can bring. So, again, anyone looking, let me see a number here, guys. Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
And
I mean, to fill the time for you for a second, I think a lot of people are buying into the Walter Clayton Jr. Express train, over 30 points each of the last 2 games. He could be great tonight too. If Florida wins, I think it's because you get another MVP type performance from Walter Clayton Jr. That's where I'm going. If Florida does win, is Walter Clayton is like ungodly out of his mind tonight.
You can get, let me see, at most online shops, you can get Houston plus a hook in the first half. At Circa, it is a pick right now. At South Point, it is a pick as well. But all the other online shops, DraftKings, et cetera, you can get Houston plus a hook in the first half. I think that's the way to go. And the funny is, this Florida team total in the first half has been, the lowest it's been is 38.5. I've seen some of their prior games, 40, 41, 42.5, 43.5, mid to late season, 45.5 against Alabama, 32.5 for both teams' team total. So again, usually slow start, add defense, add Houston. Not that I'm telling you to run to the window and play Florida team total under the 32.5. Take them plus the half for a pick in the first half. Again, if you got Florida futures, just guarantee yourself some profit. Enjoy the damn game. And listen, if you got a Houston future and you want to walk to don't just put something on Florida. Yeah. Just go ahead.
No, I was going to say, even if you might be like hell bent, like if you got a Houston future, like Houston is winning this game tonight. I don't even want to think. If you put $20 on it, at least get your money back at the very least, or give yourself a nickel profit or something. At least get yourself, your money back. Is even if you're hell bent on something. If you're not hell bent on something and you're 50-50, then you can get yourself a nice profit either which way on it.
Yes. So again, enjoy the game. Starting tomorrow, the full Masters coverage here. Masters week again, Wednesday at high noon, 9 o'clock in the morning Pacific, West Coast time. Brady Cannon will probably end up with an hour show there on the Masters there. The live guys are coming over. Great defending champ, Scotty Scheffler. I was going to say Scotty Webb. Scotty Webb came back today at 10:30. Scotty Scheffler right now, you can get it Circa at 5-1. Rory's at plus 750. Schauffele, The number that for the live guys, I'm having a real hard time wrapping my head around the live guys here. I know Brady got Koepka. Koepka had a great week a couple of weeks ago, but the number that stuck out to me, and he had a big tournament last year, there was Bryson DeChambeau plus 1450, leads the live train with John Rahm right behind him. Thoughts initially? It's Monday on Augusta.
Yeah, and I mean, as far as DeChambeau just starting there, I saw just on DraftKings a second ago, 18-1. You also factor in the approval rating on him as far as the average person. I mean, he's a fan favorite at this point for a lot of people, especially coming over. You know, if you're a fan of him, you're hoping that he comes over and beats up on these PGA Tour guys. If you're a big Bryson fan, so that one I was with you was shocking. Maybe not shocking, but surprising that he wasn't getting more love there. You kind of forget about John Rahm because he's not getting a ton of waves in live. And then I look over and it's like, oh, he has been like 7 tournaments in a row and top 10. So he is kind of just ho-hum, cruise control, in good shape for the most part. And this might be the moment where he comes back. It's like, yeah, you better. I hope you didn't forget about me. So I do respect some John Rahm action tonight or this weekend. The other live guys, we talked about him. The guy that has been making the ton of waves was Neiman, and where is he now? 35-1 on DraftKings. And you look back, and he doesn't have a ton of success at the Masters, and so there is some of that. But you have to, also say, well, okay, well, he's playing better than he ever has probably in his career right now. So 35-1 with the love that he's getting wasn't jumping off the page at me by any means. And like you said, it is Monday, so you want to get through the rest of the week and see if any of this stuff moves at all and see if anything comes out. But, you get Ludwig, who I think a few weeks ago you would have expected maybe a better, 15-1. Hasn't been lighting the world on fire the last month or so, but kind of just in cruise control. I still like some Ludwig action as of now. And then you get some respect from JT. He's been starting to get the respect on his kind of comeback tour, if you will, there. As opposed to another guy who you are hoping is coming back, and Hovland, who just beat out Thomas a few weeks ago at 40-1. So, like the respect for Thomas there. I think he could have a nice tournament there. Not a lot of respect for Cantlay off the jump. He's been, he hasn't been capitalizing on any of these tournaments necessarily, but he's kind of lurking in a lot of these tournaments. So 40-1 after we were at a point within the last couple of years where he was a perennial top 10 at least odds guy. Not a ton of respect there, but he can always obviously sneak up on people. And then obviously you got some guys that maybe aren't in form down the list there, or maybe guys who are playing well but maybe don't match up course-wise, whatnot. You got Minwoo Lee, who's 60-1, who's playing really, really well right now, but obviously 60-1, not giving him a ton of respect there. And as far as any other live guys, I'm drawing a blank. Brooks Koepka is always just a wild card, obviously. He's playing well, though, in live for the most part. He's been putting up some decent scores there. So Koepka is the wild card to where you either are all in on Koepka, and then you run the risk that he's, 5 over through the first front 9, or you go all in on Koepka, and he's, box to wire a monster this weekend. So that one's always a tough one. Tough to go on an island with Koepka there. You kind of just put him to, a group of guys you might have on that one. But a lot of time left before, Thursday. Obviously, Schauffele's the one guy that you're still waiting on. Is he ready to break back out into what we saw last year, or is he still kind of getting his momentum going, getting his self back in shape? Because we haven't really seen too much fantastic stuff out of him here January, February, March so far. So I am curious to see what we get out of Schauffele, if it's just a ho-hum, if he breaks out, or, if it's, still more of the same we've seen from the last couple of months here.
Schauffele, I go back to my horse and dog days, and Schauffele's always been that board dog or board horse. Listen, you don't put him on top, you got him, top 5, 10, and 20, but I think this is his 4th tournament back. You talked about the ho-hum. I think Scheffler's been that ho-hum. I go back every time here last year on Sunday, the 11th hole, and sometimes golfers not playing well, they get to Augusta and the light bulb goes on, and Morikawa, who is not in form, was right on top of the leaderboard. He goes into the water on 11. Oberg, who we had heard it already made the scene, was right there at the top of the leaderboard. He goes into the water, and who's right behind him but Scotty, who just plays the perfect back 9 and runs away and hides. So again, I'll say the golf people that are just a majors and a big tournament, you want to scratch an itch. I don't know if it's beer and pizza money, or if it's, hey, I'll take one unit. If you're going to just take one unit and you just want to scratch an itch, you play Scheffler at 5-1, you play Rory at plus 750, and you just have at it, because I think the winner definitely could come from the top there. 79 golfers tee off, and I think 50 make the cut, and of that 50, there's only about 30 that really can win this tournament. It's usually a star-studded event at the top of the leaderboard, and the person that puts that green jacket on, no disrespect, I mean, just off the top of my head, Scotty Scheffler, John Rahm, Matsuyama, just a handful that have won it the last few years. Rory trying to complete the Grand Slam, and no one in the world right now, no one in the world is playing better than Rory. And I say this every time, I'm the number one fan of his President's Club. He's the only one in the world that has another gear in that bag. When he's cooking with Crisco, forget about it. The problem is he's always been a slow starter here at Augusta, and he has that one bad round. He makes the cut. Then a couple of years ago, I think he was hunting pins on Sunday and shot like a 63 or something stupid.
Yeah. I was going to say that one, I can't remember which one it was. I won some money off. I won as if I had a pre-flop, because I picked him to finish top 3 on that Sunday or something like that. And I think I won more money on that bet than I have on any other golf bet in my life. But, yeah, no, you said it. I mean, Rory is playing fantastic. Obviously circling the wagons more than anybody on these majors and at Augusta. So I am excited about it. Do you have any, if you had to pick one, just off the wall, I feel like whether they win, I mean, obviously you get some studs plenty of times, oftentimes than not, you get some studs, but I feel like every year, whether it's top 10 or maybe a guy lurking for the top, is there any off the wall picks that you think could have a nice weekend here?
You brought up Neiman, again, one of the best iron players in the world. He's a popular pick there. There's a name that's floating around, and I'm going to get his exact odds. And he was a name that earlier this year was playing well. His problem is the putter. And for some reason, the name won't escape me. I want to see his odds before I announce this here. Let me go to the map. I'm pulling up Circa as we speak. Golf Masters, and come on. I don't want him to be super low here. Come on. Yeah, he's 41-1. Shane Lowry.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I mean, that's a guy that's, if he shows up and he's playing his best, he can absolutely be up in there, absolutely. The one guy that I every time I see him in the odds, and he's just not the same guy, and I think I need to give up until further notices. And we've seen him play well at Augusta as Willie Z, but still just not the same guy that we saw, whatever it was, 3 years ago. I don't even know how long ago it was now that we thought was going to be a perennial top 10 or whatnot, but he's made every cut that he's been involved in this year, so that's some good stuff there. But I'll go with Willie Z as my off the wall deep sleeper, deep. Hopefully somebody wakes him up Thursday morning, deep sleeper pick.
Well, and I'll give you one that Brady was talking about that's playing real well right now. And listen, does he have 4 rounds at Augusta? Probably not. But he's playing well. He has a green jacket, if I remember correctly. And now I just going to see, and he's a big odds here, so bear with me here.
I mean, I might know who you're talking about.
You can say it out loud if you want.
Somebody they were talking like deep, like 100-1 odds. Is that what you're talking?
He's only plus 7,000.
Okay, now who I thought you were talking about then.
Sergio Garcia.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good one there. I was thinking, he's won a major, but maybe it wasn't at Augusta. But Justin Rose has had, and I'm just a Justin Rose guy as a deep sleeper. So that's my other deep sleeper pick, who's had a couple nice top 15 scores on the tour this year. But and I know he's had a good finish or two at Augusta. I can't remember if he's won. I don't think he's won there though.
Plus 12,500. And I will tell you this. When I release, you'll get our release Wednesday night. If Justin Rose is on there for beer and pizza money at plus 12,500, I mean, just think of it this way: $10 get you $1,250. So if you're a Rose fan, why not? But when I bet on Rose, he wilts. When I don't have Rose, he's a thorn in my side.
I've got a one outright victory. I can't remember if it was last year or the year before in like the Pebble Beach program. And other than that, I'm with you as far as him not showing up for me either.
UFC, I watched the UFC. I painfully watched, and I said that because I split it up. Of course, I had the basketball game on as well. But my point is, I was waiting, and I know it was at the Apex, and I know it was a fight night. I was expecting the main event, Emmitt versus Laron, to be this absolutely hate. No. They were hyping up the 21-year-old. It was a grappling fest. I was disappointed, and I shouldn't use the word disappointed, but again, I didn't get that, oh my God, wow factor this past Saturday with the UFC.
Right, and I watched a good majority of it. I probably missed a couple of the fights. This wasn't one a very star-studded fight by any means. Wasn't one to really go out of your way for, but it was still some, good resource to use for these guys in the future. But yeah, I'm with you, especially the main event. I mean, you watch some of the clips of them, how hard these guys throw, Murphy and Josh Emmitt there. You're thinking at least one of these guys is going to get clocked. And sometimes in this case, it was one of those ones where, Emmitt was, bleeding off of every, different portion of his bald head. So you'd think it was an absolute bloodbath. And it's just, you got clipped a couple times. Okay. And now it's a bloodbath out here. So, one of those ones that's a little tougher to watch. Emmitt's 19-5, but never really had. This was one of the bigger fights of his career. So, Murphy, I think will be on. He's 16-0-1, so he'll be on a nice little track there. But for the most part, this one was a little bit of a snoozer. Didn't have too much going on. I think one that was a little more exciting had a first round doctor stoppage to it earlier on in the fight card.
Oh,
so
that was disgusting.
yeah.
Oh no!
Oh, that guy's eye was that one was that one was rough. And actually, they said it wasn't even his eye wasn't even the reason they stopped it. I was watching basketball too, and they apparently said something with his lip was why they stopped it. Wasn't it? They would have let it go if it was his eye, for God's sakes. But other than that, you had a couple monster favorites too. The one guy that's I had never watched fight before. He's 11-0 now. American Torres Finney. Middleweight guy, split decision with Robert Valentine, but he was like a 5-6 inch disadvantage. Had a good reach, and I was curious to watch him fight. And he that one was one where I was going back and forth in, so it wasn't as impressive. With he was like a minus 400 odds on that guy too. So curious to see what his trajectory is. It's clear they want to get him some good fights, Finney there. But other than that, yeah, we're the week before fight night was better, and our eyes are turning to 314 this weekend, my man.
314, get jiggy with it at South Beach in Miami. Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez. Any early thoughts there?
Yeah, that one is one where I think Lopez is a guy that maybe if you're just watching the big pay-per-view fights, maybe you've seen a little bit of Lopez, but he's probably flying under the radar of the quote unquote casual UFC fans. This guy is really, really good. He's fought a lot these last couple of years. His last loss, he's won 5 in a row, and his last loss was still in 2023. So he's fought. This will be his 7th fight since the start of 2023. So he's fighting a lot, and in a lot of cases he's winning going away. Couple knockouts, couple of unanimous decisions against some really good fighters in that stretch. So I do think Lopez has got a great chance. He's got a 5-inch height advantage. He's got a little bit of a reach advantage on Volk. So I do think whereas Volk's trying to get in on you and have that control of the cage for the most part, I think Lopez can kind of match that a little bit, and he's not going to be intimidated by Volk's quickness and whatnot. So I as much as Volk, he's in a spot where he is an absolute Hall of Famer, ridiculous fighter, And typically I don't like going against guys like that I do think the world of, that have lost 2 in a row, because they are pissed off and trying to get that back. And that is exactly the case with Volk here. But at the end of the day, I think Lopez is a really, really good match for him. So I am kind of looking at the underdog there. Haven't looked too much into the Chandler Pimblett fight. I haven't watched these guys. It's been a while since we've really seen these guys fight, actually. Patty Pimblett, haven't seen him since last July. Michael Chandler, we saw in November. But, his Chandler's a wild card because since he's come into the UFC, he's fought a murderer's row of dudes here. Knocked out Dan Hooker, obviously, quickly. But, he's fought Charles Oliveira twice, who was a tough matchup for Michael Chandler, and lost both of those. His other 2 losses are Poirier and Gaethje, who are, similar styles, but, just as good, obviously arguably a little bit better than him. So you go now to where you might say this is the easiest fight that he's had since Dan Hooker, which I don't mean to be disrespectful to Patty Pimblett, but that's how good the other fighters that Chandler has fought are. So this is kind of a wild card for me. Patty the Batty, obviously, he hasn't loved since 2018. He hasn't lost since he's been in the UFC. Which this one is a little bit, his fight path has kind of been one of those more strategic, star building fight paths, to where you don't have much of a test until really this one here, with all due respect to the other guys he's fought. So this one, I'm trying to, I don't have a thought on who's going to win that one. I could see that one going either which way. I'm not going to rule out Michael Chandler, though, because he's got that knockout power, and just the murderer's row of dudes that he's fought over the last 3 years is almost unmatched by anybody in the entire UFC. The murderer's row that guy fought for a few years there.
No, we can't wait. Thursday, 3 p.m., Lou Finicaro, UFC 314 live at Miami Beach, South Beach. Again, Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez, the headliner there. Day baseball going on. As we go to the top of the 4th, Mr. Ibanez, 3-run homer. Casey Mize outdueling Mr. Rondon and the Yankees, 3-0 top 4 there. I got Fenway Park as my backdrop. The Red Hot Red Sox, winners of 5 in a row, 1 game behind the Yankees. Sweep the Dodgers, sweep the Cardinals. Doubleheader last night. They were rained out on Saturday. It is cold, rainy, and raw right here on Cape Cod. Right now, 39 degrees here in Cape Cod, but the Sox are supposed to play today. I think it's Toronto comes to town. Yes, Lucas versus Fitz, 6:45 first pitch. Jays took care of business. With these outrageous contracts of Soto, Ohtani, you don't want anyone to go to free agency like Mookie Betts. The list is endless. We know that. Rumor had it that Vlad's camp wanted $600 million. Well, they held hands. They went to the start of the year. I think it was 14 years. $500 million. So Vladdy will be a J. I don't know where the ops are. They all have ops outs, yada, yada, yada. But congrats to the Jays. They needed that. Maybe Bo Bichette now goes to free agency. But Vladdy looks like a J for life.
Yeah, for life. And now you can focus on whether that's keeping some of the guys you've had. Because obviously their rebuild, not as catastrophic as my White Sox, but their rebuild kind of on the same timeline hasn't gone as according to plan. But obviously you give Vladdy as a cornerstone, whereas if I'm the White Sox, to parallel that, I would love to have the opportunity to be confident enough to pay Luis Robert 14 years, $500 million. And that's where, part of the difference is, where if you're the Blue Jays, you got a guy you can build around now and not have to worry about having that star to market, or even have, as far as, heading up your lineup there. So kudos to them. You said it, though. It is going to be a lot of parts of the country, but maybe the nastiest, coldest day of the season so far, a couple of weeks in, because no White Sox today, but the Cubs are hosting Texas. It is, like you said, it's 40 wherever you, in Cape Cod where you said it is, 40 degrees here, feels like 22. The wind is disgusting here. I think that might have even had a flurry of snow throughout the day here. And the Cubs are playing tonight. I think the wind will be a little less. It might be nastier now than it is tonight, but the wind is still going to be disgusting in Chicago there for that game. And I know there's some other games that are kind of similar story there.
Well, the funny is when Scotty was on, I looked at this and I was like, Texas at Chicago. I don't see Nolan Ryan. I don't see Kerry Woods, Mark Pryor, Rick Sutcliffe. Yet it's a flat 6. And I says, A, it's going to be damn cold there. And B, the wind's going to be blowing in. Can you imagine Eovaldi, who's been lights out?
Yeah.
We know Justin Steele. Is it Justin Steele or Justin Aluminum Can? A flat 6 under over first 1 to 3. They're going to stop the game.
Yeah, because other than the weather, I wanted to, and you took the words out of my mouth. I was going to kick it over to you to do the steel or aluminum. He has not. This is start number 4. I think it's probably the only guy, or maybe the Dodgers have a guy too, that has been able to start 4 times with the Cubs and Dodgers series. It has not gone well for Steele so far. I would say this is probably a guy, maybe not tonight. With the weather, I think it's probably safe to say at some point you're going to get a bounce back start from Steele, whether it's going to be because of the wind helping him out and the temperatures or in general. So that was the other part I was going to ask you, if you're liking any Steele action tonight, or if you're just thinking this is going to be the worst game that any of these guys have ever participated in. You're going to get the full the turtlenecks and long sleeves and what's not in this game in Chicago. I can promise you that.
And the Cubs are raking. Texas needs to wake up. It's Wyatt Langford in a cloud of dust, it seems. This Cubs team, we've been very successful to start the year. We've hit on a few of their team totals, some first fives. They can rake. Kyle Tucker, thank you very much. We between the Red Sox taking Bregman and the Cubs taking Tucker, I mean, the Astros have no offense and they're puttering right now. And both the Red Sox and Cubs are thriving right now. And Scotty even said he thinks the Cubs are going to run and hide in that division. I believe it as well. I'm looking at the slate. There is 11 games and all, 1 going on right now. There's a couple things that do stick out to me. The Red Sox, here we go. Pitch and change for Toronto. In comes Berrios, who has not been that good. We saw what we did to Mikolas last night. We put up an 18 spot. ECSI VIP's team total over 2.5 first 5 for the Red Sox. They scored 10 in the first 5 and they scored 18 for the game. This should be right in their wheelhouse here with Berrios there. Dodgers at Washington, May versus Gore. Cincinnati at my beloved San Francisco Giants, Logan Webb. The Giants hold the longest winning streak in the game right now. If you had them start in the year, what are they, like 9-1? 8-1. 8-1. Atop of the West. That's with the Dodgers' amazing start. That's with the Padres' amazing start.
We're going to have another it's going to be the Dodgers. One of these teams is going to win 110 games. The other 2 are going to win 105. And we're going to have one of these teams or 2 of these teams packed up and home by the first week of October, for God's sakes. That's how this one's shaping up here. But we've got plenty of time before we get there. The one I was going to ask you is any love for the Nats tonight against the Dodgers? You do have Mackenzie Gore, who obviously people are hoping has that type of breakout season into being a potential all-star. He has been solid. So great first start. 1 hit, no runs, no walks, 13 Ks against the Phils. 5 innings, 9 hits, 3 earned last time out against the Jays. Dodgers 190. You can get them pretty easily on the run line, my friend. The greatest team of all time, minus 115 on the run line. Any love for the Nationals tonight?
You said Dodgers. Now, people were saying, if I lose in the matinee, I lose at night. I got the Dodgers West Coast. They lost 2 out of 3 to the Phillies. They come limping in. Can you imagine that? 9-2 limping in to Washington. Team total for the Dodgers, 4.5 juice under, minus 20 cents. So if you don't want to lay the minus 150, you don't want to play the run line, which on the road, I say if you're going to play run lines, you play them on the road because you're guaranteed the 9 at-bats. The 27 outs, but you can get their team total over 4.5 at even money. The Nats, 3.5 juiced under, minus 150. If you like the Nats to get to 4 and don't want to have to worry who wins the game, you can get a nice plus 130 price on the Nats there. Mackenzie Gore, didn't he? What do you have? Like 13 strikeouts in the first game. Yeah. Came back to earth in the second game. Third start here. You slight lean to the Dodgers after losing 2 out of 3. But I think that we'll be saying this all year, Riley. These Nats are pesky.
Right. No, there's some of these bad teams that have some peskiness to them, where you get some, good spots where they got a pitcher who's ready to light the world on fire for that night or whatever it is. So, it's a tough one, but anytime you get a team that's as popular as the Dodgers is and as good as they are, and I had a bad team with a reasonable run line, you have both sides where it's like, man, that seems too good to be true, or this is a fantastic opportunity to take that team at a price like this that you normally wouldn't get. So, you can play both sides of it for sure there. Like we said, there's a lot of nastiness weather-wise around the league here in the Midwest and the East Coast. But anything else baseball-wise? Only 2 games, I think, tonight NBA-wise.
Yeah, I was going to go to NHL. Everyone grab your pens and pencils. I'll give you some team totals here. If you like Tampa at the Rangers, team total over 3.5, you can get that at plus 130. If you like the Rangers to score 3 or better, team total over 2.5, you got to lay 25 cents there. If you like the Jets to come home and beat St. Louis and to get to 4 or better, over 3.5 is plus 140. If you like the Blues today, you can get their team total over 2.5 at plus 105. Another comeback on Winnipeg. If you like Winnipeg and you think it's a big night for Hellebuck, you could play the Blues team total under that 2.5 at minus 25 cents there. If you like the Kings against Seattle tonight, team total over 3.5 at plus 100. If you like the Flames at San Jose, team total over 3.5 minus 105. And Edmonton at Anaheim, team total over 3.5 plus 115. And you said 2 basketball games tonight, Sacramento at our beloved Detroit, and Philly in South Beach against Miami.
And Miami 12.5-point favorites. I don't know that I expected to see that this year. The 35-43 Miami Heat, 12.5-point favorites, coming off of a couple losses there. But jockeying for position, I do expect them to win. Jockeying for position in the play-in there with my Bulls and a couple of other teams. If you want to make the playoffs, you would obviously prefer to be the 9th seed and host that first one than on the road there for the Heat and have to win 2 games on the road there. So that's really the only drama in the East is the jockeying for the 7, 8, 9, and 10 seed there. You got teams. If you're one of the play-in teams, do you try and position it so you're playing Cleveland instead of having to play a 7-game series against Boston, or at that point, are you just happy to make the dance?
No, I think that is the mindset that people would be eyeing rather play in Cleveland, but I think they're going to get a false sense of hope or security there because Cleveland is, I think, going to just walk right through. Should face the Celtics. Cleveland will have the home court advantage. Obviously, the Celtics will have to serve at home, which Cleveland's already won in Boston this year, so that's not a problem. Boston, we know, especially in the playoffs, excuse me, can win on the road. That's probably going to be a 7-game series, and Celtics will be a short favorite in that game 7, probably 1.5, 2-point favorites, and the winner goes out west to face OKC, maybe the Lakers. How's that sound?
Right. I was going to say the other drama is the 3 through 8 seeds in the West are all separated by 2 games. So Minnesota and Memphis right now are in the play-in situation, which I think any of those teams that if they ended up 7 and 8, you would hope handles business well enough against. Right now you got Sacramento and I guess Dallas, if they can get a little healthier, could be a little threatening, I guess there. But Sacramento isn't appearing too scary to me in a play-in situation right now as it is. They've got Detroit tonight. Pistons minus 6.5-point favorites. For the most part, like in Detroit's case, they can go up to the 5 seed, but they're locked in top 6. So I think Detroit trying to stay motivated and get through here. Don't really have too much of a thought on this one. I'm not buying any stock in the Kings right now. I don't want to be a homer with where I've been at with the Pistons this season to say they're going to win going away, because I wouldn't surprise me if the Kings hung around in this one, but not buying any King stock these days right now, and they are looking to wrap this season up as quickly as possible.
Closing thoughts, sir.
Closing thoughts. It's a big week. Obviously, have some fun tonight with the game. Hopefully, it is a fantastic one. Hopefully, you get some good action in on that. But obviously, we got Masters Week this weekend, big UFC weekend this weekend, and then following tonight, we got the dog days of NBA and NHL playoffs right around the corner. So. It is a good couple of months stretch coming up here, and obviously fantastic next week or so here at this world of sports with golf and UFC and whatever else.
And tell the world again, your big day is when?
The 26th, so I've got less than 3 weeks, my friend. It is getting closer, and I will no longer be a bachelor. I've been with this person for almost 10 years, so it's not anything too crazy, but gonna have a great time, and we're getting excited. It is no stress whatsoever, as I'm sure you can none whatsoever. Everyone's in place, in line, and no one's freaking out whatsoever.
At this point, it's just yes, dear, yes, dear, yes, dear.
I know. Hey, the finish line is in sight. I can see it. How about that?
And the key to a happy early marriage is having a comfortable couch, because there's going to be days that you don't want to say yes, and you'll just grab the comforter and pillow, give her a kiss goodnight, and say, sweet dreams, I'll see you in the morning.
Yeah, something like that. That's about right. Yep.
ECSI VIPs, I'll get an alert out. I got my eyes on something here in the MLB. Again, a lot of people watching and listening, and if you haven't already, jump on over to YouTube at East Coast Sports Investors. Over the weekend, we hit 10,000 subscribers, so congrats. Thank you to everyone there. We're well over 1 million views on our shows. We couldn't have done it without all you guys, so thank you so much. Come on back to Twitter or X at EC Sports Invest and follow Riley at Riley_Magnuson, the one. Again, April is a huge month, and if you jump on board today, what are you going to get? You're going to get tonight's championship game, which I verbally told you where our eyes were. You're going to get the Masters this week. Last year, we were 4-0 in the majors. You're going to get the full write-up and all our selections and thought processes for the Masters. You're going to get MLB daily. You're going to get NHL and NBA playoffs, and you will get all the way through the Kentucky Derby. And we'll have Sean Alvarez on, of course, on Fridays to break down all the big key prep races leading up to the Derby and, of course, the Kentucky Derby there. So I'll tell everyone to save a little extra money. I won't be greedy. We're never greedy. We're just keeping the lights on and educating. Again, 10-2 last week and counting last Sunday where we went 3-0. Okay, we're on a major heater right now, so come join us here. Actually, 11-2 including last night. I forgot that. So 11-2 last week, and then including the 3-0 last Sunday. We're on a 14-2 heater. So go to EC Sports Invest. See my profile. Click the Dub Club link. Yes, we partnered with Dub Club. Click that link. You're going to see $60 for 1 month. And hit the promo code, save 10%. So it's going to cost you $54 for all our selections. Come on board on this 14-2 heater, 11-2 last week. Have some fun with us for $1.78 a day. If you can't afford $1.78 a day, you shouldn't be in these lanes, because those $5, $10, $15, $20 parlays that you do every day to win 20, 30, 50,000, how they doing? Yeah, they're right there. They're the confetti. They're the doilies. They're the target practice. They're in the garbage. So come enjoy the guys that have been here 10 years publicly, 50 years of sports betting experience, 1975 Red Sox Reds, 50 cents on the Red Sox with my 5th grade classmate. You know what happened. Hey, I got 7 games worth of action. I did lose, and the rest is history. So for myself, Jeff Dawson at DC Sports Invest, the one and only Riley Magnuson at Riley_Magnuson, the one. We wish everyone a blessed day. Enjoy Championship Monday. It's Masters Week tomorrow, 11:30 a.m. Adam Ronis makes his ECSI debut. Adam Ronis works with Matthew Berry at It's a Fantasy Life. Sirius XM Radio. He is also partnered with Dub Club. We're going to do some NBA talk, and I think we're going to have him come on twice a week, as well as Scotty Webb. It was great to have Scotty back. So enjoy your night. Any questions, comments, concerns, you can DM me at EC Sports Invest or send me an email at eastcoastsportsinvest@gmail.com. Hope to get some new signups today. The alert will be coming out within a half hour, so stay tuned.